What up, PMPT family? So, I did a talk a while back just about the autonomic nervous system, which is our nervous system that controls our organs, controls our physiological and psychological state, and tried to tie it back to why. Why do you need to understand that? So, ultimately, let's review the three again. So, the first one is the ventral branch. So I'm talking about the nervous system. So the anatomists broke down the nerves and named them. So the first branch is ventral branch, second branch is sympathetic chain, and the last branch is the dorsal branch. These two are associated with what's called the vagus nerve. And your vagus nerve controls so many things. It controls our heart rate, controls our function of our organs. Now, it brings me back to why? Why should we know this? Number one, it empowers you, because now if you understand this, you understand how powerful breath control can be. You understand how powerful exercise can be. You understand how powerful mindset and the way you think can be, because ultimately your psychology controls your physiology, and it's the opposite. Your physiology can control your psychology. So let's dive into some things. Have you guys ever heard of heart rate variability? That's what's been really, it's been talked about in science a lot right now, and the strength and conditioning world's using it a lot as a way to measure ready state. And that's what those rings are that you wear that measures your heart rate, or the Whoop band. Ultimately, these things are measuring the variation in your heartbeat, like the time in between beats should be different each time, and that's called heart rate variability. Now, if it's not different, then we have an issue. And let me explain why. So every time you inhale, your body activates what's called the sympathetic chain. That makes your heartbeat go up. So if you were to palpate your own heart rate, you would feel when you inhale, your heart would speed up. And when you exhale, this turns off or reduces in activation, and your heartbeat's lower on the exhale. This is where we could really dive into when you can control your breath, you can control autonomics. You can control your state. So let's go down the chain here. So number one, we want to be in a state of ventral branch activation. Ventral branch activation is when you're in a state of what they call social engagement. Like you really want to talk to people, you're feeling joyful, you're feeling love, you're feeling satisfaction, accomplished. When we train, and when we do activities that are higher intensity, we're activating this chain. That puts us into the fight or flight. So from an evolution standpoint, when we're in a fight or flight state, this turns on, which prepares us to either run from a tiger or to fight a tiger. So it mobilizes our heart rate, our blood pressure, prepares our muscles to do either running or fighting. And then the last one is the one we want to stay away from. This is when people are in a state of depression. They have low muscle tone. They're very just lethargic and oh, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to talk to anybody. But the cool part is, if you're ever in this state, exercise will take you out of this state because you're activating this chain and puts you into the fight or flight, which takes you out of this immobilization with fear. So it brings you up in level to a more energetic state. And fun fact, a lot of the antidepressant medications take you out of this state by creating a pseudo-stress state. So by taking a medication, your physiology becomes in a stress state, so it turns on your activates your sympathetic chain. So that's how, just fun fact, a lot of the antidepressants work. They just make you feel stressed internally, not mentally, and it takes you into this state so that you don't feel so depressed and you feel more elevated. Because ultimately, this is the bottom of the pyramid. You don't want to be in this state. If you train, you get to the middle of the pyramid. And ultimately, we want to be at the top. We always want to be happy. We always want to be just in a state of engagement. So once again, this is where the power of the breath comes in, because we can play around with the type of breath to put us in and out of these different states. Now, for example, if we were to do fast rate breathing in and out of our nose only, we're going to be activating sympathetic chain, takes us out of this depressed state. If we're doing a morning routine with positive thoughts and self-affirmations, that takes us into this part. So I just want to drive it home. What you think, you feel, and ultimately your psychology controls your physiology, and your physiology controls your psychology. And just to bring it home even more, the placebo effect is what power we truly do have. Um, if you believe something works, it will work because we're designed to heal. It's when we don't believe and when we become negative and always thinking negative thoughts that we get sick. So, guys, remember, mindset, breath, move. So, breathe, move, mindset. Okay, guys, take care.